Federal government warns discos as they lament blackout despite 65% subsidy given. All right, except you don't live in Nigeria, then you know that the majority of Nigerians have been living in utter darkness. I included the entire yesterday until I came to work this morning. Permit me to inform you that I know see light, and I'm wondering, like, are we going to continue like this? You know, every day you come back hopeful. Maybe they'll bring light today. Maybe they will, and then everywhere is just silent. You know, silent. It is what it is. Anyways, power distributors that reject electricity allocated to them by the Transmission Company of Nigeria shall be dealt with severely going forward. That is what the federal government has come out to say as at Monday this week. They also revealed that in the next 3 to 6 months, it will ramp up power generation and supply to between 6,000 and 6,500 megawatts. Well, the Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, he's not a man to envy right now because a lot of Nigerians have been calling him out on social media. In fact, somebody actually asked for him to be removed because he doesn't know what he's doing in that power sector. But then the minister has come out in a video to actually ask Nigerians to be patient, that him and his team are working tirelessly to address this blackout issue and also assure Nigerians that things will only get better. Let's go listen to the minister. We'll come back quickly.
Actually necessary to also reassure Nigerians that we are not sleeping here. We are doing everything possible to make sure that the situation reverses in no time, because I see this as a crisis, and the crisis must be arrested. All we just ask for from Nigerians is to exercise a little patience, to give us a little time, to still retain their trust and retain their confidence in us that we can do this job, and very soon they will start.
Okay, that's the power minister, the Adelabu, urging Nigerians to be patient.
Madam,
yes, sir.
The way that the politicians normally put your name in the midst.
My name? Oh, wow.
In the midst. I don't know where they put your name. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. You are collecting salary. Be patient. Estaco. Be patient. They are giving you car. Be patient. Come. Number one. You see this issue of light. Objectively, there are a lot of parties that are culpable. Number one, the president that appointed Adelabu as Minister for Power, what did he want to achieve with his expertise in accounting and banking? To come and head that ministry. That one is one part. Two, federal government that is saying is going to do this, going to do that. Federal government, Asofila is also owing money. Yes, now Asofila is also owing money of electricity that he did not pay. It's part of the reason why these disco are not working.
47 billion.
47 billion, only you. We are not talking about other federal establishments. We are not talking about, you know, the university. University of Ibadan, there was a time they cut them out of the grid. University Teaching Hospital in Ibadan. The one in Ile-Ife also. Now, this is federal establishment. All of you, let's put the depth of federal government establishment with Asofila together. I didn't know the reason why they want the disco to be liquidated. That one is true. Then three, there are Nigerians that want to use light or that are using light and they did not pay. They are part of the problem we're talking about. Then another one again is this. When Nigerians were inviting all this disco, we told them at that particular time, some of them, they dash them. How will somebody buy something and you still give them money at the end of the day? Then discos, the one they are generating, and the gencos, the one they are generating, the disco has the capacity to use the same power. So when we look at everything together, we are just economical with the truth. All those power points, all those power plants that we have in Nigeria, what is the capacity? Can they withstand the generating power that is coming to them? Are they not obsolete? Wherever this Minister Saleh, former Minister of Power, that they asked to have 3 plants, Mr. Shokriton, out of that 3 plants, he has 2 in his own state and his own local government. So now, if we want to really work, all these 3,000 megawatts, 4,000 megawatts, this government has not reached the level of megawatt that Buhari government reached. Are we now going to be saying that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, that all of us agree wholeheartedly, that particular administration, they've just removed 8 years from the age of every Nigerian? Are we not going to be saying it's better off than the standing that we have now? So what is important there is this: there is no development if you don't have power. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people that are working that without light. In fact, it's very good to live in village now than living in the city, because in village there may not be power, but there's ventilation all around and there is fresh everything. But in the city, you are talking about, I know a particular locality, they've not had light this year. It is not that their transformer spoiled though. They have not had light this year. It's
becoming really worrisome. Really.
They have not light. So what is important is that we can't drive our economy. When Mr. Shokriton said we are not productive, how can we be productive with this kind of electricity?
You know, I listened to the extended recording of this minister's speech yesterday. I was waiting to actually hear him give me, you know, the fundamentals. Like, I wonder what really is the issue. Why there is nothing really. There was nothing in the whole speech that signifies that this is actually the problem. It's just assurances Nigerians we're going to do better, be patient, and all of that. But it just makes you feel
they should just put your son in there. Patient.
Go ahead, Mr.
I think that what we need to recognize is that what is happening is what word I'll use is deliberate. It's deliberate. For me, there is no other logical explanation for what is happening. So this is corruption and vested interest combining to just keep things as they are. If it was not so, do you know that under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigeria attained a generation capacity 16,000 megawatts. 16,000. So it's nowhere near what we need. Our energy demand estimated is about 98,000, almost like 100,000 megawatts. For this country to be properly productive, like we're saying, you need at least 100,000 megawatts in order for you to have uninterrupted power in the major urban centers, and even in some of the rural as well, commercial, industrial, residential, and then in some rural, except maybe in places that are totally uncovered by the grid. But as long as you're covered by the grid with 98,000 megawatts of power, we'll have uninterrupted power supply across the country. So we are currently on generating capacity alone. We're trending at about 16% of that. That's bad enough. Generating capacity 16,000. Distribution capacity, we have never gone above 5,006. Ever. That is the capacity of, now when we say distribution capacity, what does that mean? Those lines, those high tension, not the main one, not the huge high tension ones people build houses under, just the 33 kVA and 11 kVA that runs just above us, on these lines. That's distribution infrastructure, plus your transformers and your substations, the various, those substations, all those undertakings. That's your distribution infrastructure. All of that infrastructure put together, capacity as of today is just about 6,000 megawatts. So even though you are generating 16,000, you cannot distribute more than 6,000. Our transmission capacity, in order to move that electricity from the generation to the distributors, you need the transmission lines. Our transmission capacity, as at the last time that I checked, I was unable to confirm whether it has increased, was 7,000 megawatts. So those are the problems. And they are well documented. It's known. And it has been known for years.
But according to the FG, the discos are rejecting. They are rejecting the generated electricity.
Yes, because they don't have the capacity.
What do we mean by capacity? The equipment.
They don't have the equipment.
They don't have the equipment
simply cannot distribute
this power.
So now, why do they not have the equipment? They're being owed. There's energy theft.
Federal government also is owing.
Including many, including Aso Rock. The federal government itself owing
47 billion.
Yes, energy. So the problems are integrated and intertwined. But the solutions are clear and simple. The solutions are simple. The president, Muhammad Buhari, this celebrated ex-president Buhari, once a president, always a president. So
he's a president for life.
Please, for the purpose of this conversation,
for the purpose of this conversation, he's a former president.
Thank you, sir.
He celebrated, you know, this Siemens deal. They talked about a Siemens deal that they sent around 2019 or just before his second term fit. You know, where they spoke about it was specifically designed to fix the transmission capacity.
Yes.
And they spoke about how the transmission capacity was going to move from the current 7,000 at that time within 2 to 3 years to get to 11,000, and by the end of his tenure to get to 20,000 transmission capacity. Imagine if your transmission capacity is in excess of your generating capacity. What that means is that as you are generating, you can send it around. And then, which means you can then focus on building more generation capacity to even fill the unused capacity of your transmission lines. But where are we today? Nothing. That Siemens project has not taken off. Some of the equipment was brought in and is stuck. The last time I checked, I don't know what the situation is now, was stuck, you know, at the port for a while. The implementation and execution of that project is stalled, and then this new administration has also made reference to that same agreement. Oh, they are talking to people in Germany. If you remember when the President Tinubu just came, they went to Germany to talk about power, you know, and all of that. So why is it so difficult in an 8-year period to increase the distribution capacity of this country above 6,000 megawatts? Why? It's not that hard. So for me, I think the minister needs to get creative, he needs to get serious, he needs to find solutions. One of the solutions that have been obvious, Vice President Oshibajo, while he was a candidate in 2014 into 2015, actually laid out a brilliant plan that spoke about off-grid captive power solutions across the country. He described it as such a beautiful vision that across the countries, in the various states, various communities, they will just look at you, they will engage with a private producer, an IPP project, just like what we have in Redemption Camp and in some places that are fully energy sufficient today. There are places in this country, they have 24/7 power in places. So the government can actually develop policies to encourage that to happen across the country, so that we don't depend on the national grid. You see, to renew that national grid, to increase the capacity, is almost impossible. Because it means that you have to take them down and put them back up, and they are stretching thousands of kilometers across the entire country. It's a big project.
I know it's a big
so,
project.
You know, so it's very,
but then it's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science.
Because I remember from administration to administration. So,
from Obasanjo.
Let me read something to us, okay? Now, according to data generated primarily by the World Bank, Nigeria's electricity production reached just a little over 8,000, all right, GWH. That's September last year, okay? Now, that's shameful for a country that has about 220 million people, okay? That's almost nothing. Now, let's compare that to our neighbors, you know, with smaller population. We're talking about countries like Ivory Coast with just about 30.9 million people. That's like the size of Lagos and maybe Kano State, just a little bit, okay, and all that. Now, electricity production in Ivory Coast reached over 9,800 as of December of 2018. Long. And by 2023, they are climbed to over 10,000. Okay? Now, that's way higher than Nigeria. How about Ghana? With just 34 million people, all right? Just the same population with Lagos and maybe Kano State as well, all right? Their electricity as of December of 2021, all right, from 6,000 in December of 1971, as at December of 2021, they reached about 22,000. Okay, now Ghana has progressed so much in terms of electricity.
People will not leave Nigeria and go to Ghana.
Let me not even go to South Africa.
And now import.
Let me not go to South Africa, because a lot of us think South Africa is not even an African country. All right.
The one that is able Ghana.
All right. Now there are so many other little African countries, you know, who have been able to, you know, sort of like take hold of their. What is the problem with Nigeria?
We have East Sky in the north. We have wind. If you are looking for strong wind in the northeast and northwest that can generate power from it, we have water all around.
There's wind in the north. In fact, they have well wind. I've experienced it before.